We're still talking about insecurity, but let's bring in this angle because as a country, we're facing an upsurge in abduction by bandits across the country. Reacting to this, President Bola Tinubu has condemned the abduction of internally displaced persons and students in Borno and Kaduna States. In a statement by his special advisor on media and publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, the president described the victims as very vulnerable and directed security and intelligence agencies to rescue them and ensure that justice is served against the perpetrators. BKO, this cannot continue.
It's terrible.
In total, 480 vulnerable persons.
Yes, the school that was raided, they kidnapped 100 primary school pupils and 187 secondary school pupils, making 287. Unfortunately, some of the governors in the north have not picked up valuable lessons from their colleagues elsewhere. Today in Borno State, schools are not open in the dangerous areas. No way. That was a lesson that they picked up from the attack on that school in Chibok. Monguno is a distant local government close to the border with Chad. Outside of Monguno town, the rest of the local government, nobody lives in them. The rest of the communities in the local government, nobody lives in them. Once you step out of Monguno town, once you stray out of the IDP camp in Monguno, which is the biggest in northern Borno, you're on your own. You're on your own. As we speak, Kukawa local government, even the headquarters, Kukawa local government, Boko Haram is living freely with our people. As long as our people pay taxes, we allow them to go about. If you don't pay, that is when your life will be in danger. So the people have found a way in Kukawa local government, one of the biggest local government in Nigeria, to live with Boko Haram. The armed forces are not getting involved. They are not there. Just as the armed forces will not go to Guzamala local government, the headquarters, Gudumbali. No soldier is there. No police. It's been like that for so long. Abadam, we have soldiers on ground. People are not living with them. Look at what happened in Dikwa, where the governor built houses for people who that they brought back to resettle. They set ablaze all the houses that he built. They set ablaze everything. So we should not deceive ourselves that we have won the war against terror or that we have won the war against banditry. These guys are still very much around. When we praise ourselves, the armed forces like to praise themselves a lot. And some journalists too will be praising them to high heavens. Many of the people who are gatekeepers who put out a lot of those things, they've not gone to Maiduguri. They don't even know what the situation is. So any information you see, you just splash it. You go to Sokoto, there are at least 7 local governments where you are not safe. They can strike anytime. Now, I was surprised. That school in Kaduna, there is no network to the place. Even the journalists who went there on the day the thing happened, they could not find their stories from there until they got to the state capital. They couldn't find their stories. No network, which means that the people can't raise alarm. It's on the way to Brinengwari. Yes. And Brinengwari is one of the most dangerous places in our country. Even if you are a soldier, you want to drive through the roads of anywhere, you are risking your life. I've seen them waste Air Force personnel like that, who drove through that area. And that was an area that, in those days, in the 90s, we used to travel through that whole area. Today, people would rather go through Kogi State to go to Abuja. You know? So, these boys deliberately target students. Why? Because they know once they kidnap students, our blood will boil. Everybody will start talking. Our government must move. Government must do something. Governments must pay the ransom. They don't go for ordinary bus passengers the way they go for students. It's deliberate.
Absolutely.
When we kidnap students, it will draw the attention of everybody. It will be a newspaper headline. And at the end of the day, you move, you pay ransom. That is what they are looking for. Ransom in hefty.
Sadly, it's working
portions.
for them.
It's working for them because we've not found a way. Every time we say, we are going to deal with these people, but we are not going to deal with them by mouth. Between 2014 and August 2023, they kidnapped 1,680 school children. We are saying that we want to do something about out-of-school children. I can tell you, as somebody who went to Zamfara State and investigated a school where bandits, a school that bandits attacked and took away students. By the time that school was reopened, almost a year after, half of the students didn't come back. So how do we defeat out-of-school children syndrome?
What will they come back to do?
Even their parents will be scared.
Yeah.
So what happened in Kuriga should not have been allowed to happen. You can't keep schools running in places where you know, look, the closest military formation to that place is 35 minutes away. So who will come and save them? You can't allow schools to run in such places. I mean, we shouldn't be doing this. It was the same mistake that we made about Chibok. We should have shut the school. They received threats. We should have said, okay, come and do your exam in the state capital.
Yeah.
We should have not made that mistake. When they told them, they said, no, there is security. What do you mean by security? 20 soldiers. Do you know how many people they are bringing? Do you know the weapons they are bringing? Can 20 Nigerian soldiers stand up to Boko Haram fighters carrying the same AK-47 that they are carrying, or even AK-49, and fully loaded in a truck? Can they stand them? Because sometimes they use strength in numbers. In fact, many times that they have overrun military bases in our country, they use their strength in number. When you see them coming in a wave like that, nobody will tell you before you run. It's the person who runs who lives to fight another day.
Absolutely.
So that's cool. And I want Governor Obasani to shut schools in places where the safety of those children is not guaranteed. He has to do that as their governor. He has to do that. This sort of attack should not be allowed to happen again. Lock those schools in those places where the communities are not safe. That's what we have in Borno now. The federal government girls' college in Manguno is now running in the state capital. And it's a distance of more than 200 kilometers. They brought them. Is that not better than to allow these boys to go and pack them away? Those girls will be traumatized. We will spend money
to get them out.
Dotun, the vice president was also there and spoke with some of the community leaders. But also, is there no framework that can be put in place for the protection of our schools?
Yes, we've been talking about this framework for a while now. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Gbetokun, still spoke about it some 4 days ago. The NSCDC has a unit for school protection. But like I asked, do we have the personnel and the arms and ammunition to do it? We don't. Because that's where the problem is. Just like BKO said, 20 soldiers, and you have about 400 Boko Haram coming in different directions on motorcycles, in trucks. From where do you even start defending your own position? From where? And then these guys are now coming even with rocket propellers, RPGs. So, apart from even saving your own life, you have to save the lives of those children. Because the moment you attack, they are also going to respond. And then you are endangering the lives of those children. So sometimes it's better, once it happens, let them go. Let them take the children. Because the possibility of more surviving with them is far greater than you creating a confrontation that will lead to the killing of everybody. So, like BKO said, the North must sit down to reevaluate what it has to do. The police, as it is, can't contain all of this. NSCDC, as it is, can't. And even the military, we are far thinly too spread now. The military is involved in every sphere of, in almost all areas of operation. That's where the military is involved. Every geopolitical zone. So if you leave it at that, then what it means is that we need to get to a point where the governors will sit down together and say, see, like it was done in Borno State, let us close some schools. Soon, West African Examination Council will be having its senior school certificates examination. Move all of these students into areas where they can do those exams in safety. The good news is all of these things are now digitalized. So if you move one child from, say, a particular school to another one, that child will still write that exam because he has a unique number.
Just to write exam now.
Just to write exam. You have a unique number.
Look at the mistake we made in
nothing stops you.
With those FGC students.
FGC. It's the same.
They got intel that those boys were coming. And the state government reached out to the federal government because federal government owns Unity Schools.
Unity Schools, yeah.
At the end of the day, they've almost finished the exam.
Let them finish. Let them finish.
Those boys came. Those children, they got some of those girls pregnant. Some spent over a year in there. So we can avoid some of these things. There's no need to keep a school in an area that is deemed unsafe. Because at the end of the day, they'll pick those children. They will never recover from the trauma.
They can't. Absolutely. Because Boko Haram will not go to a place where they know they have to confront about 100, 200 soldiers or a mixture, a joint team. They won't go there.
They will not do it in the urban center.
In the urban center, they won't go. It's in those areas where it's even difficult to make a call, where you don't even have network.
Nobody will come and help you.
Nobody will help.
But just a bit, seriously, this is a discomforting reality. But where do we go from here? We
have this state police that they talked about. I want to see it happen as quick as possible. Because all of these vigilance groups that they are setting up, they are just wasting people's lives. Those boys have not got the weapons to face the bandits. You can see that the newly formed vigilance group in Zamfara, those boys killed 60 in one day. They were going to the den of bandits. Bandits that sometimes kill soldiers. They ambush soldiers now sometimes. Why were you trying to go and confront them? You don't have the resources to face them. And they killed 60. After they killed 60, they've killed 40. So what is the thing? It's just like setting them up for slaughter. But the state police, the law must empower the personnel, state police personnel, to carry the kind of assault weapons that those boys are carrying. Once the law permits that, I can see an improvement in our security situation. They have to be patriotic and rush this whole state police project so that it comes to fruition as soon as possible. All of the states of the north that used to believe that, no, we don't need the state police, what they are doing by setting up those vigilance groups and spending all that money on them, it's like state police in another name.
That's it.
It's state police. If they can give them weapons, they will give them.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for your perspectives so far. Now let's discuss our final conversation for tonight.